Hi everyone, welcome to Maths Time. Today from the 10th Science, we are discussing some important points from the chapter Metals and Non-Metals. So here in the Metals and Non-Metals chapter, mainly we study, means this is an introduction, the properties of metals and non-metals. So properties are physical properties and chemical properties of the both metals and non-metals. Physical properties means by looking the substances we can identify whether they are metals or non-metals. So they are physical properties, and chemical properties means so chemical reactions will take place and chemically they will change. So how metals and non-metals react with first oxygen and next one water and next with acids and next is reaction with metals salt solutions. So how metals and non-metals react with metal salt solutions, and you study many more reactions here. And last one is in this properties reaction between metals and non-metals. So these are the metals and non-metals separately reaction, and how do they each other react, metals and non-metals. So when they are react, ionic bond is formed, that then the compounds are called ionic compounds. We will study that also. Then next topic is metals, occurrence of metals. Like oxygen and nitrogen like gases, metals do not exist in the free state. So they are mixed with some impurities, and where do they occur, from where we can extract the metals. So that we study occurrence of metals and extraction of metals. Some steps are there, we also study that. Next step is when metals are there, it is one process is there, one procedure or chemical reaction, corrosion. So corrosion, what happens corrosion, what is the meaning of corrosion and how to avoid corrosion, prevention of corrosion, because corrosion is a destructive process, degrading process. It destroys the metals. And next one is alloys. Alloys are the mixture of metals and some compounds. So what are alloys? So how many types of alloys are there, we will study. And next is reactivity series of metals. Reactivity series means all the metals do not react similarly. So how first according to the fast speed and according the reactivity series is there, we will study one by one. In first we will study physical properties of metals. First one is physical properties. In that first one is lustrous. Lustrous is the first property, physical property. Lustrous means when we see the metals, they look shining. So shining is lustrous. So metals have shining surface. For example, silver, gold, copper. Next one is always metals property is physical hardness. So already you know metals are hard in nature. Metals are hard, and exception case. Generally all are hard, but some metals are there which are soft in nature. So that is sodium is one metal, lithium and potassium. So they are soft. How soft means they can easily cut with the knife. So sodium means we cut with a knife means they are not metals. It is not correct. Metal, sodium, lithium and potassium, they are soft metals. They are not hard. These are the exception case. Next state. So how many states? Liquid, solid and gaseous state. Almost all the metals exist in the solid state. But exception case is there. So where mercury is a metal. So but it exists in the as a liquid in the room temperature. Remember, mercury is a metal, but it does not exist as a solid state. It exists as a liquid at the room temperature. Next one is malleability. Malleable means, so metals can be beaten into thin sheets. You have seen sheet. So that character is called malleability of the metals. So metals are malleable. So gold, silver and aluminum. You have seen the gold sheet, silver sheet and aluminum, copper sheets. So that character of metals is called malleability. And next one is ductility. Ductility is, so these metals can be drawn into thin wires. So you have seen wires are made up of metals. So that property is called ductility. Example, copper, aluminum and gold. Next property of physical property of metals is conductor of heat and electricity. So automatically you know metals are good conductor of heat and electricity. Next one is density and melting point. Density means heaviness. You know what is density? So the density of metals is high density. They are highly dense and high melting point. They do not easily melt metals. Now next is physical properties of non-metals. So the physical properties of metals are lustrous, shining, hardness, they are hard, a solid state, they can be drawn into sheets, drawn into wires, good conductors of heat and electricity, and high density and high melting point. Coming to non-metals, they are lustrous. So lustrous, do they shine? No. Non-metals do not have shining surface. But here also exception case is there. So iodine. So when we see iodine, it's a little bit shines, but it is a non-metal. According to the character of metals, metals have lustrous property, but here iodine is a non-metal. It has a lustrous property, that is, it shines. Next one is hardness. So like metals, these are not hard. They are generally soft in nature. Here also one exception is there. Though diamond you have seen in all the ornaments and jewelries, we use diamond. Diamond looks like very hard. According to metals, they are hard, but diamond is not a metal, so it is a form of a carbon. So this is a non-metal, but it is a hard. This is exception case. And next property is their state. So what are the states? How do they occur? State. Non-metals, they almost exist as solids or gases. Here also an exception case is there. Bromine is a liquid. So according to character property of the non-metals occur as solids or gases. But here bromine exists as liquid. It is not in a solid or gaseous state. Next, malleable. Malleable means, non-malleable. They cannot be beaten into sheets. So these are brittle in nature. Brittle means we can easily break them. Like biscuit, chocolates, how do you break? They are brittle in nature. They can be easily breakable. Next one is ductility. Non-metals are non-ductile. Means they cannot be drawn into wires. Next is conductors of heat and electricity. Non-metals are poor conductors of heat and electricity. We cannot pass electricity through the non-metals and we cannot heat them. But here also one exception is there. So what is the exception? Graphite. Graphite is a though non-metal, it conducts electricity. Next, density and melting point. Density, they are having low density, they are lighter in nature and low melting point. They can be easily melting. Next, another property, two properties are there. Sonorous. Sonorous means they produce sound. Sonorous means the substances which produce sound are called sonorous. Here metals have sonorous property. This is also one important property of the metals. Sonorous, when they hit to this hard surface, always metal produce sound. So that property is called sonorous. But metals, non-metals, they are non-sonorous. Means they do not produce sound. And next property is oxides. So metallic oxides means when metals react with oxygen, metallic oxides are formed. They are basic in nature. So why this is a physical property? Because we can identify by using litmus paper whether the metal oxides are basic in nature or in acidic nature. So this nature is the physical property. Metallic oxides are basic in nature and non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. So this is the physical properties of metals and non-metals. And in-text questions are there after finishing of this topic. Here first one is give an example in-text questions. give an example of metal which is liquid at room temperature. We have studied in the physical properties, that is mercury. And metals can be easily cut with a knife. So what is that? We cannot, because metals cannot be cut easily. They are very hard in nature, but sodium is a metal which can be easily cut with a knife. Next question, which is the best conductor of heat? Silver. Which is the poor conductor of heat? Metal. Mercury and lead. So next second question is, explain meanings of malleable and ductile. So here is a definition. Malleability and ductility. So what are these? These are a very important properties of metals. So substances that can be drawn into thin wires, they are called ductile. Example, gold, silver and copper. And substances that can be beaten into sheets, they are called malleable. Example, all the metals, mostly all metals are malleable in nature. In the next video, we will study the chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Thank you.